Show you guys how to put this carburetor back together so we can get the old 335 running. It's been sitting on the shelf for a couple years, maybe about 6 years. I just want to hear it run, and then I'm probably not going to do much else with the Skidoo for a couple months because I got other stuff going on, but we're going to get it running. As you see, I got most of my stuff laid out. I had it soaking overnight. I'm just going to throw everything in this bucket for now. Oh yeah, couldn't want to wear gloves. So, this carb cleaner leaves kind of a sticky residue on everything. So, I'm going to spray everything down with brake clean and then blow everything off with the air hose. I turn my idle screw way up to keep this butterfly open because crap will get in there and then this will want to get stuck in the closed position, so that way I can get a brush in here and clean all this out. Actually, I'm just going to brush it down real quick. These were brand new. It's like this one's torn a little from when I took it apart, but we'll see how it goes. This is the filter. Inside looks okay, just the outside's very dirty. So when you take this carburetor apart, just pay attention to how everything's layered and you shouldn't really have a problem. Common thing to go bad is this diaphragm rips, and this is basically your fuel pump. There's no fuel pump on these sleds. It runs off of your crankcase vacuum pulse line. So this is a diaphragm. It'll pump your fuel. If that rips, it might start idle, but then you go to take off and it doesn't want to rev up. It'll stumble. That or your crank seals are bad. Got an old Articat that needs crank seals. So yeah, there's this filter screen and then this filter. Don't over tighten this, you'll strip it out. That's what happened to my original one. So what I like to do is go in here with a Q-tip with some aluminum wheel polish or something similar and put the Q-tip in a drill, and it'll really clean out the gunk in here to make sure your needle doesn't stick. Yeah, it looks a little cruddy in there, so I'm going to do that. So actually the HR75A doesn't have a pulse line. Line up this hole and the pins just like that. Then you got this shape that matches up with this shape. Then you got this piece. The plastic piece. And then your rubber piece. And then this piece. So that's about it. Mixer screws. Your low speed's going to be the thin one. High speed's the thicker one. So before you take these out, screw them in until they seat lightly and count the number of turns. So then you can put them back to roughly where they were to start with. So that's pretty much it. When you go to install this, you want to make sure your throttle's wide open. You get full open and close movement. Looks like this one can go a little bit past open, so I'll have to adjust that. For your idle, I'm going to back this all the way out until it doesn't do anything. And then once it makes contact, do like a turn and a half. 1.5 turns. You can always turn your idle down once it's running, but if it's too low, it might not want to run. Alright, we're about to fire this up. I'm going to dump some gas in it, just so I don't have to keep pulling it a bunch of times. Main fuel line goes here. I'm going to hang this bottle from this snowmobile stand. And then the return line is here, running into a gas can. I have my snowmobile dolly holding the belt in case the clutch engages. You don't want it to engage with no belt. So we're going to see if it runs. Okay, well, the recoil rope broke. It's old. And the recoil from this ended up on the Elan from when that one went out, so have to do it the old way. Most of these had like 9-to-1 compression. I think this is the 10.5-to-1. Put this on the compression release. It's easier to pull. I'm guessing the needle's sticking. I was pulling and pulling, and I think it flooded. I put this sweet looking pod filter on it. Might have to get one of those for the Elan. mixer screws. Well, it runs. It's doing something. Mixer screws. As it was warming up, it seemed like it was slowly running out of fuel, but I should get these mixture screws dialed in. Plus it's summertime, so yeah, I had to rip the old plug wire off. Well, it runs. The way the throttle response was, I'd say the carburetor works good. I'm gonna get a new fuel filter anyway. This is off the LAN. I kind of just ripped a line, broke a line on the LAN because they're so brittle, so get new lines. But we know it runs. There's a lot of stuff I'm going to be doing to the sled. I thought about modifying this engine a little bit, like porting it, get a little bigger carb, raising the compression even more. But I mean, there's a lot you can do to these engines. But I mean, it runs now, so I might just leave it alone. But I don't know, my idea was to somehow either lake cross race it or at Eagle River, but I've read about what some people have done to these and the free air version single cylinder, making almost 50 horsepower, and I don't know, it'd be a lot of work. I'd have to build a tune pipe, which would be a cool project, but I think I'm just going to get the sled finished, maybe get a Comet clutch, get to run best I can in the sled before I do any engine mods, or put this in the LAN. I don't know. Well, that's about it. Thanks for watching.